Hold on.
I see meeting is now streaming.
Oh, you can see.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yay. Okay. Okay, hello parents. This is Coach John here from Learning Out of the Box, and thanks so much for being here. My apologies for not having done more regular live streams because I myself is also very busy with my primary six girl. I see my own kid, my eldest. Yeah, but I try my best to bring on a collection of PSLE experts so that we don't just help you by providing you useful tips for maths, but also we do it for science, for English and mother tongue as well. Yeah. Okay. So today I have a very special guest, and her name is Teacher Lup Wai. Hello, Lup Wai.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me. Very honored to be here.
Thanks for being here, and I understand that you have just finished cooking.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell
Make
us
sure
what
I
do
feed
you?
the kids.
Yeah. So tell us what you cook today.
Chicken stew?
Ah, chicken stew. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and veggies. So make sure there's meat, there's veggie, there's rice. That's it.
Oh, so actually, what made you cook or prepare chicken stew for today?
I find it very easy to prepare, and I have all the ingredients that I need in the kitchen, in the fridge. So usually I see what I have in the fridge, and I'll just prepare what I can do with the ingredients.
Awesome. Yeah. So parents, if you are here and you're cooking or you're just finished cooking, just type in me. Yeah. So we love to hear from you. And being a parents who teach and we are proactive in our own ways. Sometimes we tend to juggle multiple roles at home. Yeah. Okay. So Laboy, okay. Tell us more about you. Yeah. And then what makes you want to share what you want to share today? Yeah. So one thing first, who are you and how do you end up supporting kids in PSLE science?
Mm. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Lup Wai, and I'm a science tutor, which a private science tutor, and I teach online. So I'm a mother of two as well, and my son just joined the secondary batch this year, which means that he went through the PSLE last year. So I can really understand how every parents feel when it comes to PSLE, and it can be very stressful. Can be stressful between the parents and the child. So sometimes when it comes to exam and all those things, right? Sometimes it will strain the relationship between the child and the parent. So I have to be very conscious and mindful about how I'm going to talk to him, how I'm going to handle him, how I'm going to make him do his work and also allow him to enjoy his time. So yeah, being a mom and a teacher at the same time can be very conflicting as well. So because sometimes I can be spending all the time teaching students because every day we'll be teaching. And I won't have much time to teach my own child. So that's when the guilt comes in. And then when I'm teaching my child, then it's like, oh, I'm also thinking about what about my students? So sometimes I feel like, am I unfair to my own child or am I unfair to the students? Right? It's like you're stuck in between and you want to help both sides, but there's only one you. So
Okay.
at the same time, I find that I can make or in a way guide my child to handle himself. I see that as a positive. So how to think it positively when I'm not teaching my kid is I have the thought like, and also telling them, now you need to learn how to be independent, how to be on your own and be responsible and accountable with what you're doing now. Yeah. And I also not always make sure, tell them that results is not, doesn't define you like they always say, right? And as long as I see that you are putting in your effort, trying your best, you have already won the medal from me or the trophy from me. Yeah. So that's how sometimes I try to comfort myself and for him as well. And of course to make sure the relationship is still ongoing rather than, teaching your own kids is not easy as well. You'll be fighting against each other.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can relate to that. Yeah, I mean, I teach other children maths. At the same time, I also teach my own kids maths, and the kind of mindset as well as patience level need to tweak lah, depending on who is the audience. Okay. So Lup Wai, okay, today we are going to talk about how you have supported your PSLE kids in doing well for science, because I think it's something that many parents want to know as well. Yeah. So could you share? So what are you going to share with us?
Okay, what I'm going to share with you is, especially when you have kids in PSLE this year. So I won't be like focusing too much like how I started my son on this science journey, right? Of course, if you nurture from young, it'll be so much easier. But if it's like now it's in the PSLE, so I'll be focusing more on like what we can do now with our child, right? The thing is, I make sure three things are well taken care of for my PSLE students and my child as well, right? The first thing is health and mindset, right? A lot of students, when they go for exam, right, before the exam, they will be like cramming everything together. Of course, some will say, because this is my style, I like to do it last minute. Fine if you can do that, all right? But of course, if you can't and you wait till the last minute, you'll be panicking as well. It affects your mood and emotion. So when you are feeling stressed, you don't tend to eat that well and don't tend to sleep that well. And as an adult, we all feel, that tension and tiredness when you don't have a proper rest and a proper diet. So same for the kids. So I make sure they eat well, rest well, have enough sleep, and of course to drink a lot.
Okay. So if I
Right.
can put an alphabet to your first sharing, A, prepare in advance. Don't wait until the last minute. So A is advance.
Okay. Yep. A is advanced. Now the next thing, also mindset is also under this health part as well, right? Which is, yes, in advance you have to prepare yourself, thinking positively, how you can move forward, how you can improve yourself, how you can take note of your carelessness and make sure you don't repeat the same thing. So a lot of parents will say that, oh, my kids always make careless mistake. Okay, then how are you going to help your child not to be careless again? That means you have to let them know that this is your careless point. So make sure you don't do that. And for kids to go into the exam hall can be very scary as well. And I have students who tell me that once they step into the exam hall, their mind went blank. So whatever you teach or whatever you have downloaded onto your brain, right, it's all gone. And it can be very unfair because due to their mental or health is not taken care of, right? Their mindset. So I always tell my children that, okay, you go into the hall, just make sure that you just take the exam like a normal test, like during your school time, right? Just read the question, answer the questions accordingly. Don't think about, okay, how am I going to score well? Am I going to score well so that my parents are proud of me, so that I can be, be of a good example to my siblings and things like that. The pressure is on them sometimes. We don't realize that and we don't know because they don't know how to express.
So it sounds to me that the second step is actually reaffirmation. We know that we want our kids to do well. At the same time, while providing them the technical knowledge to do well, which are the conceptual understanding as well as remembering of keywords. Don't forget that these are young kids going for exam and to be stressful as well. And it's very important to reaffirm them that they can do it and reaffirm them that they can do their best.
Yes. And of course, it's okay to tell them to feel the stress. It's okay that they feel stressful. But of course, we have to tell them that we are also there to support them. Right? It's kind of even more scary if you tell them, this is not stressful, this shouldn't be stressful, you should be doing it, you can do it. Actually, add more stress on them, right? So the next thing is time. Time is where, of course, a lot of people will say that, oh, you need to plan your timetable well so that you need to do your revision and things like that. So yes, this is important. Time before the exam, how you time yourself to make sure you have enough time for revision, how you have enough time for your rest, right? How you have enough time for your own playtime as well. So during the PSLE time, my kids do divide their time equally, or depends. Spending time on revision. After revision, of course, you got the playtime. I don't say that, oh, this PSLE year, no play, nothing at all. Just eat, sleep, and revision. It can be very stressful for them, actually. Yeah, so allow them to have playtime where they can release whatever negative energy from their body. All right, then during the exam, time is also important. You need to know how to divide your time such that you can answer most of the question. Of course, better to be all the questions, because a lot of students get stuck at the beginning. So they're trying to solve that problem that they forget that they have many other questions at the back. And usually at the back, the questions are more difficult. I believe math is also the same, right? And it takes more time to solve. So they have to really divide their time and look at the questions, skip if they do not know how to answer, right? Answer those that you know, and then come back to the same questions again. So that's the time that I refer to before and during the exam.
The situation whereby, let's say a child is stuck, because, okay, and again, I'm not a science teacher and I do not know how to teach my kids primary school science as well. Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is, it's not just answering the questions, but it's answering to the questions. Yeah, the two is something that I think is being missed out in many parents teaching as well as children's answering. So what if the child is stuck? How much time is to be allocated to get the child unstuck before moving on?
Actually, some people will say that like a few minutes. It depends on the child as well, how they analyze, how fast they digest the question, and how quick they can write as well. So it also depends on the child. I don't have a fixed time. It depends. Usually I gauge by that child it's themselves, right? If the child write really slow, then of course you will have a shorter time to really, take your time to analyze the question, because it also take extra time to write, right? And also for difficult questions, right? Even though if you know that you can't answer, I'll get them to at least try to write something that they understand from the learning, or understand the concept. Then you write something there rather than leave it blank. Yeah. So, and of course, when after the exam, you don't discuss about it anymore and making yourself feel very bad about it. Right. And the time also to practice during the revision time, make sure if you do not understand certain topic, you can allocate more time for that. Yeah. And that's why you need to allocate your time properly before the exam, so that you know how much time you need to spend on each topic. And from there, they also can gauge for themselves what kind of question they are facing and how much time I'm going to need. If this is a weak topic, I'm weak at this topic, I need to spend more time. So I go quickly do other questions that I'm good at. Those topics that I understand, I do that first before I coming back to the topic that I'm weak at.
What are some of the common careless mistakes that kids make? Because I think this is something that many parents want to know. Like when they hear about, what other parents or what other kids make, they can help their kids to take note of it, or maybe to avoid them.
Okay, like what you mentioned just now, not answering to the question. All right, and sometimes they read too fast. They just jump to the conclusion that, they're asking for this, actually they're asking for that. Right. So they're not answering to the question, reading too fast, not understanding, not digesting the question enough, not answering relating back to the question. Sometimes they just answer one part, they forgot the second part. Right. And when they ask for explanation, sometimes the explanation is too short. And the common problem among the students is sometimes they find it hard to formulate what they understand into proper sentences to write it out. So that's the struggle most of the students have. Yeah. And when they answer yes or no, it's very easy. But when it asks them to like explain and describe, right, they can sometimes write out the scientific facts, but they're not relating back to the question.
If let's say a parent say, teacher Lup Wai, my kids like to read, maybe Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, does that help in answering well for the science questions?
Not really. I can't really say that it will help in answering, because it's more of how they want to explain in the scientific way. I have seen students who read a lot, and I have seen students who answer like writing a compo. Yeah. But if that compo doesn't consist of what is needed in the answer, they may not get the answer. I mean, they may not get marks as well.
How do we okay, why I say this is because I think having a primary 6 child, she's almost like a preteen. Yeah, so sometimes when I tell her or give her suggestions, it's not very well received lah. So sometimes we are not just providing good feedback, but also it's a tussle with the child's identity as well. Yeah, so it's hard for parents. Yeah, so how will you advise? Is like, for example, your tip is okay, writing enough. Yeah, writing to answer to the questions is actually the right advice. But when we tell the child is like, no lah, this is not my teacher said. So how can we parents support the child in this way? Because I think that is a big problem for me sometimes. Like, hey, I tell you this one is correct. Then the child say, no lah, my teacher didn't say that this is correct. Or my teacher in school said something else. Then it got me really stuck.
Yeah, I do have that problem as well. Sometimes the teacher are teaching differently. And what I do is, initially I do get stuck as well. Then the very first time I teach my kids, right, we argue with each other. And after a while, I come to realize that, oh, actually, he can follow what teachers say. All right. Then I'll ask him, what do you understand about this method that the teacher has taught you? All right. And then I'll see whether he can explain or not. Okay. And if I still think that my method is like the correct way, or is another way that you can write, then I'll ask him to write it down. And then, can you help me ask the teacher whether my method correct or not? Yeah, rather than you should use my way. Yeah. So maybe I act as like, oh, I'm also not sure. But I want your teacher to clarify with your teacher whether it's right or not, whether I'm right or not. Or whether this method is another method that I can use. So at least you give you more choice. If you don't know how to answer in this manner, you can answer this manner. Yeah, so that way he feels more comfortable. Oh, you're not insisting me to follow your way, because they're already inbuilt in them, I should follow teacher's way. Yeah. Then they think that, oh, so mommy want to clarify. Okay, I'll help her to clarify. At the same time, I'm also learning.
And it sounds like when you ask your child to check in with the teacher and also phrasing in a way that, hey, can mommy get you to help me to ask teacher? It sounds like an invitation as well as a collaboration. And what I sense is, hey, actually it's not a direct conflict with the child that's saying that, hey, actually you're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah. they don't like it. They don't like it at all. When you insist on your own way and they already have their own mind. Yeah, so that we have to tweak a bit of how we use the words and how do we describe the situation.
Yes. Yeah, we have a few parents watching this right now, and probably they are having their lunch. Oh, sorry, lunch. Yeah, dinner. Yeah. Can you see that as a parent who teach, right, and teach our own kids and other kids, our energy is just super drained, and sometimes I feel that I lost my focus. Not sure about you and parents are watching this. Yeah, so type in a me if you feel that sometimes that somehow there's like a tussle between you and your child whenever you want to support, even with the best intention, but you still feel that, hey, actually there's this tension. and you're working with not a child, but it's actually a preteen in some sense. Yeah. Type in the me so I know it's you and how I can support you in this case. Yeah. Okay, but today's session is really a short one because we want to give parents like some quick tips in supporting their children, and I think it's especially very useful for parents who teach our kids science. At the same time, they are not trained in science. Yeah. So, what would be your one final A star slash AL1? I think as a parent, we still very wired to remember A star, A star, A star. Yeah. So, what would be your one AL1 tip for parents if they want their child to really score as high as possible?
Have to get your child interested.
Interested, or it's not those like some super cheat code or like the insider tip that what will come out this year?
No, I don't have that, because with that interest, being interested, right, the child is more willing to learn and willing to practice, because the third point is the practice part that your child need to do. Other than having the health mindset and the time, the child need to practice a lot in order to score, because they need to understand how to answer all those questions. But if you're not interested, right, for example, you don't like doing certain things, if you're not interested at all and I want you to do it, you're dragging it and you don't really memorize or remember any of the things that you have studied. So it's a very simple thing, but it's also not easy to perform. So that's what I see in most of the students. When they are interested, their score can really fly. But if they are not, it takes a longer time to get it.
As you share the word interest, personally as an educator and a parent, I'm aware that this is very important, and in fact, I have always placed this at the top of the list. Yeah. However, for some parents who only have the time to teach, and now it's only how many months away from PSLE? Can you help me to count? Suddenly I forgot what's today's date. 8 to still got 9.
8 to 9 months. I think 8 to 9 months, about there.
Yeah. Probably now we can say that it's already end of Jan. Chinese New Year is coming next week.
Next week.
Yeah. So I mean, some parents, okay, I think I want to speak on behalf of some parents, like, hey, teacher Lup Wai, I agree with you, must be interest. But you know, like 8 more months, I still want my child to do well, like get AL1 or AL2 at least. Then how to build interest? A lot of things to do. Then I got to cook chicken stew I got to cook vegetable for my kids I got to cook Then I started to teach English, maths, and mother tongue. How to build interest for primary 6?
Parent at home, what you can do is plan the time, let them sit together with them, plan the time, and make sure they practice those exam papers. Practice exam papers. Yeah, there's no one thing that I can like pinpoint at, but practicing is one way to do it with exam papers. So every day or every alternate days you try to practice one paper. That's what I tell a lot of my parents as well. And it really helps them. And if you find that you do not know how to answer those questions, no problem, you can look at the answer and discuss with your child. Because during the discussion, your child also try to digest it as well, and they understand better. Yeah, but of course, you don't show the answer, nah, this is it. At the same time, you have to explain why this is the way they answer it. You just need to, if you don't know how to teach science, just follow the paper and the answer sheet, and then explain together with them. So explain to them, and at the same time, do the research together with them. Yeah. So does that help? I'm trying to be as practical as possible for parents who are busy at home and doing it as easily as possible with the child.
To score high marks sounds like there's no shortcut. This is exactly how, if I can remember correctly, how I study for my O levels, and we just go and grab those very thick O level
10-year series.
10-year series, right? For physics lah, for geography, because I was a pure science student. So I buy for bio, I bought for physics and chemistry and geography as well. Yeah. And it's like how can I put it? Like, for example, if we are taking a car driving test, while we can visualize and imagine ourselves sitting in a car at the dining table, but it is not going to be as helpful as driving a real car. And that's why we go and sign up for those like driving lessons, right? Where we actually drive a real car. So same thing for PSLE. While we cannot get hold of the actual paper, but your child must still work on other school papers, your child's school papers, as well as the parents are expected to buy the PSLE booklet. Yeah, so schools will give to them. I mean, I got to know it from my kid. Yep.
Yeah, the school will also get them to buy the PSLE assessment book as well.
Correct.
So because different questions they will ask differently, so you have to be exposed with all the different type of questions in order to understand how to answer.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, so parents, we have come to the end of the session because it's going to be a very short one, and I understand that Lup Wai has just finished cooking, so I assume that she hasn't eaten yet. Yeah, and now the chicken stew is already cold, and she has to recook a new dish for herself. Yeah. Okay, Lup Wai. So you have shared A is learning in advance, R is reaffirmation, T is time, and I is interest. I can see the word ARTI, like ARTI. Yeah. Correct. So what will be the final takeaway for parents? Like, hey, I can start with 4 lah, but which one to start first? Ayo, like very hard leh. Which one to start first? ARTI, ARTI. In your opinion, yeah.
For parents who teach at home or who doesn't teach at home?
Because we are supporting parents who teach at home now, so let's focus on teaching at home.
For teaching at home,
teach.
Okay, what you mentioned is that interest not enough time really, right? So focusing more on time, because we have really limited time left. So you have to really catch hold of the time really well, do the practice paper, and also enough time for them to digest as well. Yeah. Because when you feel like you're pressing of time, you really feel the stress, and also on the child as well. Because not only you are pressuring them, not pressuring, or maybe telling them, oh, it's exam periods. The school is also doing the same thing. So if you draw out the timetable well and show them how the time is being divided, how much revision you can do, they feel more comfortable or assured. Yeah, so time will be the one.
Yeah. And allow me to just flip in my 2 cents. Again, I'm not a PSLE science expert like teacher Lup Wai. What I do is, if I'm you and I'm pressed for time, what I will do is just let the child maybe do 1 page and get into the momentum. A picture that I can pin for you is, imagine your child or you have signed up for a marathon, 42 km, right? And imagine you have not run a full marathon before. It's good to try out not even a half marathon. Probably go for like a 1 km jog, and even before you jog, go for like a 100-meter slow jog and warm up before if not, you like hurt yourself. Yeah. So start small lah. If I'm a parent, I will start like maybe 1 page or 2 page, or ask a child how many pages do you think you can finish today?
Yeah. And break down. Okay, another way is that you can write up all the topics that they are going to learn. Then pinpoint which topic that they are weak at. Right, and then you try to focus on that few topic with more exercises for them. So at least they can like visualize it and target the weakness. So they will feel more comfortable on that.
Got it. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the session. I don't want to hold you back from your chicken stew. Probably your kids have already finished.
Definitely.
Yeah, must be very nice. And I love chun stew leh. Can send here or not?
Okay, next round I'll send it to you.
Yay! Okay, parents, thanks so much for being here, and thank you, Teacher Lup Wai, for being here as well. Yeah, we have also arranged for next session. Do you still remember what you want to share in the next session?
No, not really.
No, yeah, but anyway, I think those are those topics that I picked lah. Yeah, and being a P6 dad I want to really get all the gems of knowledge from Teacher Lup Wai. Yeah, so parents keep a lookout for our Facebook post on our Facebook page, because in this year I'm going to bring on a list of experts, subject experts, and for myself I will especially pick those teachers who are also very hands-on parents. The reason why I do this is because when these teachers who are parents as well and they're very hands-on, they offer practical tips and they understand your struggle. So that, and then what they do is they can see from your perspective and give you bite-sized tips that you can use, rather than just throwing like a bunch of knowledge and theories that hey, you should do this or that. Yeah, because being a parent who teach, the last thing that I mean, I don't have so much energy and time as well. Yeah, so we want the teachers who come and share to be very empathetic, as well as being able to share practical and proven tips that they have also used as well. Yeah, so I'm very selective in bringing the guests to come on board to share. Okay. Okay, so Teacher Lup Wai, thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next session. Okay.
All right. Thank you, and see you, everybody.
Okay, don't go out first. Don't go out first. Yeah. Bye bye, parents. Enjoy your food. Bye.